Welcome to 5 Things to Know Before Hiring a Virtual Assistant, at least according to this one. I'm Rachael Davila, and I opened Extra Hands Virtual Assistants in June of 2005 after working as an administrative assistant for theater productions, nonprofits, and corporations. I've always loved using my organizational skills to help people do their best work. In 2022, though, I hired my own virtual assistant and discovered what a steep learning curve it can be on the client side of the VA client relationship. I know how confusing it can be to figure out who the right support person is. This is especially hard when time management books, workshops, and coaches encourage solopreneurs to find a virtual assistant, but don't tell them what to look for or how to find a quality person, which I know can leave business owners feeling confused and wringing their hands in indecision before ever taking the first step. Before we begin, though, I want to take a starting poll. What is your current level of knowledge about working with virtual support? You can put it in the chat. Complete beginner, have some knowledge, or you're a total expert.
Can there be a between?
Yeah. Beginner, okay. Knowing and expert, okay. So Rachel, between knowing and expert means you've had an assistant, you've experienced kind of that thing?
Two currently.
Two currently, okay. And Liza, in between knowing and expert, so you've had experience with one as well?
I love how we post the same thing.
Thank you. I'm gonna add that to my I'm gonna add that to my
I couldn't say expert
polling
because you're
options.
really an expert, Rachel. So I was trying to compare myself to like your level and I couldn't. So that's why.
Got it. Got it. Well, I'm not even an expert, so I probably am in between some knowledge and expert too.
You're an expert.
But don't worry, regardless of your experience level, this presentation will hopefully give you some new insight into the 5 things to know before hiring a virtual assistant. If you're in a state of overwhelm and you're ready to find the right support for your business, then this topic is for you. If you're not there yet, then maybe knowing these 5 key points will ease your mind when your business gets to that next level. So let's get started. Does the thought of asking for help leave your head feeling like a swirling mess? Usually when potential clients start thinking of working with virtual support, they're already in a state of overwhelm with all of the things on their plate. So it's natural that the first thing they focus on is what they can hand off, which brings us to number 1. Your handoff list is just a starting point. It's very helpful to know what you want to hand off, though most potential clients aren't very sure what kinds of tasks they actually need help with. Getting clear on what you need will help you narrow down what kind of assistant you're looking for. I'm not offering time during this presentation to work on this, but I have 3 steps to figure out your handoff list. Step 1, do a brain dump. Take all the tasks, to-dos, ideas, dreams, goals swirling in your head and write them down on paper. Don't edit yourself. Don't worry about repeating the same items. Don't worry if the items are personal or business. Just write everything down. When you can see them in black and white, the next step is that much easier. Another thing to do is keep a piece of paper by your computer to write down all the things you do on a daily basis that you would love someone else to do. I would say do this for a week or so.
Never
Now,
heard that before.
assign each item one of the 4 Ds. Do, delegate, delete, delay. Do items are the tasks that you're excited about, can't wait to do, or have to do, like meeting with clients or hosting a webinar. Delegate items are the tasks that drain you. You keep putting them off, or you could easily hand them off to someone else, like scheduling those calls or posting to social media. Delete, like tossing that old shirt you never wear. It's okay to delete items that once seemed important to accomplish but no longer serve you or your business. Delay. These items can wait. Other items might have higher priority or need to be done before these items can be tackled. Eventually, these things will get done when time, money, and resources allow. For example, that book idea that everyone told you to write may not be the right direction right now, but eventually, when other things are off your plate, you'll have time to think about it. Finally, prioritize your delegate list. Put a star next to what is most important to you, what you're procrastinating on, or what would drive your goals forward the most. This is the start of your handoff list. Keep it handy. It's likely you'll keep adding to it, and we're going to use it later. A lot of people ask, what kinds of things can I hand off to a VA? Here is a small sampling of the things clients can hand off to VAs. Let's take a pause. Looking at this slide, how many tasks from the list do you see that you already wish you could hand off? I'm going to give you 1 minute and count how many items you find. Then put that number into the chat. Let me get my timer. All right, go. Right. Rachel said 32. That's already a big long list that you could easily hand off to somebody. How about everybody else? 15? Yeah. Nice. Okay. You lost count, Jessica. That's
I think we're on the same page, Jessica.
yeah. Well, does this number surprise you? No.
I've been working on like relieving control. If you
Yeah.
want us to chime
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we think we have to do it all. And then when we look and we like, other people like doing those things. I don't like doing those things, but other people do. It's kind of all about zone of genius, right? Like sometimes we think, oh, I have to be the one to do it because it's my business. But in reality, a lot of these things, people make that their business and do it really well. So,
in? I like how you mentioned that, like, what is your zone of genius? And then you can pick the ones outside of it, and those are your handoff items. I really liked how you just positioned that.
another thing to consider, big tasks like social media are actually made of smaller tasks. When you break down a task into its smallest elements, there may be some pieces you like doing, like writing the content, while others you may not like doing, like creating the graphics, formatting, and scheduling posts. When you break those larger tasks into their smaller parts, you may find even more things to hand off. Looking at this slide, this isn't even the full list of what VAs offer. I culled this list from an article listing over 200 things a VA can do. Plus, a VA could learn something new every day and still not know everything. So even if a VA doesn't list a service on their website, they may still offer it. So always ask for what you need. If they don't do it, they can most likely get it done or refer you to someone who can. For years, I've built a referral network of VA colleagues who fill in the gaps of my skill set, because in my experience, there is no competition with other VAs. We happily refer clients to each other if the work they need isn't the work we do, or if the fit isn't right. But back to your list. When you look at your handoff list, do you see a pattern? What categories do the bulk of your tasks fit into? Are you seeing more in-person needs, specialized skills, or general administrative?
Ooh.
Number 2, not all virtual assistants are the same. Since the time I became a virtual assistant in 2005, the industry has boomed, and the term VA is used interchangeably for all kinds of assistants who work virtually, from the AI customer service chatbot on websites to highly specialized executive level assistants. By definition, a virtual assistant, or VA, handles administrative tasks that can be done virtually using phone, email, or web-based technology. A VA is a business owner, not an employee. As a 1099 contractor here in the US, they are responsible for paying their own bills and overhead. You only pay for hours worked. VAs offer a wide range of services and are highly skilled. They provide administrative, operations, and sometimes personal support in a broad way. They may have specialized skills, but they're not a professional in those areas. So the real question is, what kind of assistant do you need? If your task list requires specialized expertise, then it's better to hire a specialist, like a bookkeeper to do your books, a web designer to create your website, or a marketing specialist to figure out your marketing plan. If a majority of your handoff tasks need to be done in real life, like grocery shopping, going to the dry cleaner, picking up your kids, or handling your mail, you'll want to explore hiring a personal assistant, housekeeper, or nanny. But if your list can be done virtually and falls into a broad administrative scope of work, then a virtual assistant is probably the right way to go. There are 2 kinds of VAs, employee-minded and business partner-minded. Both are equally wonderful and offer high levels of expertise and support. Where they differ is the way they support clients. Employee-minded VAs are doers. They're detail and task-oriented. They keep their focus on the task at hand without offering much collaboration. They do better with tasks that are easily duplicated and have clear processes and instructions. Business partner-minded VAs look at the whole picture. They look at each task with an eye for its role in the long term. They're more collaborative and willing to offer suggestions for improvement. They may be the one to set up the process to hand off to an employee-minded VA. Sometimes you'll find an online business manager or OBM. These higher level VAs help run teams of VAs or specialists. Some of them bring their own team with them. Others will manage a team you may already have in place. It comes down to the intention and preference of the entrepreneur. Are you simply handing over a to-do list that's clearly lined out? Or are you looking for someone to streamline your business to run its best? Sometimes, though, what you need is an employee, especially if you need a full-time in-house person or you don't like having your support person be out of sight. One thing to know, virtual assistants were never meant to be a cheap alternative to hiring an employee. While there are low-cost overseas VAs who are great, most US-based virtual assistants will charge between $40 to $100 per hour, depending on their skills and experience. You get what you pay for. Another thing to consider and to remember is, depending on what tasks are your priorities, you may do these different kinds of assistance in different orders. You may need to hire the specialist to get you going, like get your website up, and then be able to hire a VA to manage updates. So looking at your handoff list and prioritizing it allows you to kind of see if you are going straight to one kind of assistant or if you need to work with different people over time. After asking about task list, potential clients always ask about cost. So, number 3, let your budget guide you, but don't let it rule you. Businesses don't just run on love, they need to make money. And a VA is a business owner. They set their own pricing, package offerings, and standards for how they work. Payroll expenses and overhead are factored into their hourly rates or packages. It's important to figure out how much money you can comfortably spend a month. Communicate this up front. While it might feel like you have hours and hours of work to hand off, your budget may not support a 10 to 20 hour retainer. It might be closer to 5 hours a month to start. That's okay. Start with what you can afford. In time, with your VA's help, that will change. As you cross items off your to-do list, your time, energy, and resources free up, and before you know it, your VA is billing for 20 hours. It happens. A VA's hour is not the same as an employee. An employee gets paid for being at their desk, even if they're talking to a coworker or playing on their phone. A virtual assistant only charges for the time actually spent on your work. They don't charge for family interruptions or calls from other clients. Nor is their hour the same as yours. Most things clients hand off usually take them a lot longer to do because they don't like doing them or it's out of their skill set. A VA has the skills and training to do the same task in less time. And lots of to-dos can get done in one focused hour. It's more than just the ease of getting a task done faster. Handing off those items that drain your energy and steal your focus frees up your time and emotional real estate. When you consider what you charge per hour in your business, how much is it costing you to do the things you don't love? Finding the right help is a lot like dating. On paper or the internet, an entrepreneur is putting his or her best face forward, like an online dating profile. It's easy to swipe right or left when you see an About Me or services page and you like or don't like what it says. But number 4, it's all about the fit. You wouldn't marry someone just because they list all the same likes as you. You'd want to get to know the person behind the profile, which is why dating a potential VA is so important. Don't date just one, interview a few people, even if someone stands out right away. To really know if a specific VA is the right fit for you and your needs, take the time to go through their vetting process. As much as you are interviewing them, they are interviewing you. As a business owner, they want to partner with their best fit too. I will preface this by saying, if you meet a VA who does not have an interview or vetting process, through yours, have at least some questions in mind that you want to ask to get to know the person. Most dating experts say to meet with a new person for coffee. If that goes well, move on to dinner. For potential clients coming in cold or by referral, this first meeting is usually a 20 to 30-minute discovery call or initial consultation. Do you like the sound of each other's voices? Can you make small talk? Does the work you need match the work they do? If you feel good about that, then the deeper, more meaningful interview process begins. In those next conversations, think about and address your important concerns. Consider what's important to you beyond your task list. Personality styles. Do you get along? Do you want someone who's funny or serious? Can you handle how fast or slow they speak? Do you want to become friends or stay coworkers? Do you micromanage or go with the flow? Communication styles. Are you better by phone, email, or 140-character text message? Do you read long, lengthy emails or prefer succinct bullet point recaps? How do you communicate anger or disappointment? And how do you work through mistakes? Time availability. Since a VA is not an employee, their available work hours may differ from your needs. Is it important to you that they're available during your work hours? Do you work to emergencies and need someone ready at any time? Since VAs can work anywhere, is it important that your VA be in the same time zone as you? Can you work within her work times? Security needs. Many times, a VA is privy to confidential information like client info and passwords. Think about your specific security needs. Do you need a non-disclosure agreement for your VA to work on your projects? Some VAs work off their dining room table with their computer in full view of their family. How secure does their workspace need to be for your comfort level? Being upfront about these needs will help you both decide if you're compatible partners or if you should see other people. And number 5, start small and build trust. Employees get a 90-day probationary period. Give yourself and your VA time to get to know each other and ease your way into working together. Start with small projects that will tell you if the fit is right and builds trust. Not sure where to start? Consider what are some of the things you're procrastinating on. What are 3 goals you have personally or professionally that your VA can help you with? It's my belief the universe likes to fill a void. The more you learn to trust your VA, the more things you'll want to hand off. Once the VA starts clearing those energy drains and your time is freed up to focus on the things that really matter to you, the more accomplished you'll feel and your business will grow. And soon, you'll wish you'd started working together sooner. But after a few months, reevaluate. All relationships experience growing pains. But if something still feels off, talk to your VA about it and see if it can get cleared up. If not, then likely the fit isn't right. Not every pairing is meant to last forever, but your match is out there. Thank you for joining me. I know I've covered a lot of information in a short period of time. I hope these 5 key things to know before hiring a VA gives you a sense of ease in finding the right support for your business. Before I open up for questions, let's do another poll. After this talk, do you feel more knowledgeable about working with virtual support? Yes or no? Do all the social. I like doing a lot of those things. Oh, from the slide, yeah. Yeah, I like doing a lot of the things for my business too. So it was really hard for me to figure out what to hand off to my VA. I knew I needed help, but I didn't necessarily know where I wanted it to go. So that was a fun experience for me. Let's see. Yes. 2 takeaways. Rachel, what were your takeaways?
So that we should be brain dumping for a week straight, not just one day. I find I have like other things to brain dump days later, and then my brain dump list is outdated. So I like that you said that. It's a reminder. It's okay. You can fill out your dump list for a week. You can add things to it. I honestly seems simple, didn't click to me. And then the second part is I have two doers, but I've always wanted to make my doers into collaborators as virtual assistants, and that's not working out in a discussion that we are going to have further, Rachel. So I really love that you kind of threw that out there, and it really resonated with me that you don't necessarily need a doer all the time. It's good to have doers, but if you need collaborators, then that's the only way to get to the next step. And I'm talking about marketing for myself. That may be something else for someone else here.
Yeah. Well, one
Those
thing
are my
that one thing that I've learned about, like when I hired my virtual assistant, they were going into high school senior year, and they were just looking for like a part-time job kind of thing. And we've been together 3 years now, and though they started off as a doer with mentorship, with them doing other client work, they're starting to feel that confidence of offering suggestions and being a sounding board and being more collaborative. So some doers do want to grow into that collaboration level. And as they get that time and experience to do that, they really can step into that. And that is a conversation to have, because some people just want to do the task. They don't want to grow into that next level. But I found with mine, they're very open to that collaboration and that learning and that growing. And it's been really interesting watching them grow and then having that kind of VA client mentorship experience. So it's not that everyone wants to stay in the necessarily the label that they get. Sometimes it's, I'm brand new, I don't know any better, and now as I learn and grow, I want more. So I found that to be true also. But it is a conversation. Communication is really important, like in all relationships. With the VA, it's a relationship.
really good point.
Awesome.
Anyone else have anything?
Does anyone
Anyone
have
else
questions?
takeaways?
Okay. Well, if you are starting to consider finding, hiring, and working with a virtual assistant, I started a podcast where we talk about all the information I shared today, but we go a lot deeper. It's called Hey, Do I Need a VA? The podcast, and it's found on all major podcast platforms. Along with me, our cast includes a technical VA, a VA team owner, and my assistant, who's still relatively new. We share our take on what we think potential clients should know, then we go way deeper into these topics. And they have given me takeaways and things to think about. And if you still have questions or you're not yet sure, I offer a free 30-minute discovery call to see if we're a good fit or learn more so that I can refer you out to someone on my referral list, or just help you where you're at in your journey of finding, hiring, and working with a VA. On my website are some free downloads that can help you figure out your handoff list, and that full 200 plus tasks a VA can help you with. I put it into a document, and you can visit that on my website, and I'll put that link in the chat. I'm gonna